It was 10, 10, 220. You know what I'm saying? We live, by the way. We was striking for the pimple joints. 10, 10, 220 for the minutes. And
Ico Pro,
the karate fighters was
Karate
another
Fighters.
it was another promo for them niggas back in the day, bro. You know what I'm
Y-
saying? Like,
Yo, there was old school it was like a zit remover or something. Let me see if I can find that. It was an ad of yo, it was I forget it. I'm not gonna remember the name of it, but it was on everything.
let me
It was
see.
even on like
Let me see. WWF pimple sponsor. Let's see if Google can help us before we start the show. Oh man, I put WWF, but it was Stridex.
Stridex. Yes.
Stridex.
Stridex, man. You should get that shit all the time. Yeah.
Stridex. Stridex.
Yeah.
Anyway, man. Uh welcome. We're live. You know what I'm saying?
Welcome.
Shit.
Reasonably late with Reasonable Wrestling Podcast here to talk about the week that was.
Come on. Should we hit him with little proper? Little proper?
A little proper? You mean like proper the liquor?
No. Should oh, we already know what type of show this is gonna be.
Oh yeah. I got a little bit of proper already, so that's not necessarily proper, but it's some kind of tequila.
All right, man. In 3, 2, 1.
It's simple.
You heard that?
Yes, I did hear that.
I'm in my
That
garage.
Jules.
I don't know what that is. That ain't one of the dogs.
Not one of the dogs. I
Nah,
thought that was
man.
Jules or something,
Nah,
man.
bro. I don't know what that is, cuz.
Was that you in the garage, man?
Yes, I am.
Oh shit. Just don't look. Just ignore it.
Just enough. That bitch sing again. I'm spraying this out. Y'all might see that fire come up on YouTube Live, nigga.
Man,
Hell, dog. I don't know what that is, cuz. Hey, what that is? Nigga, I might have to pull a gun out for real on YouTube.
raccoon.
Sure. Oh, please don't say that. Cause I'm for sure.
Listen, I know you out there in the fucking bumblefuck of God knows where in Florida. Shit, you know, it's like shit. They're still building houses out there because there's no houses up there. It's still developing. It's mad fucking. It could be anything. Mad wilderness.
That ass nigga might be a baby wolf in this motherfucker. Cause they cut down the nigga habitat around this home. You know
Yeah, man. They've been developing more there, right? There's more houses up, more neighbors.
The whole street behind us is actually done.
Okay, I bet. I haven't been there since last fall, so I'll come back around, check it out.
The whole street is actually complete, man. So
You got more neighbors?
we do got more neighbors on our whole street. As far as the houses on the back end, they all sold and everything. So we hopefully gonna have niggas here like us we was last year coming into a hurricane season. We had hail last week. We had hail last week, and it broke niggas' windows and all types of shit and everything.
Whoa, okay. Is your windows good?
Yeah, thank God.
Okay,
You know what I'm
good.
saying? For sure. You know
That's
what
what
I mean?
matters.
It dented up my car like a motherfucker though, for sure.
Damn, that bad, huh? Damn.
Nah, it got niggas bad. The hell was the size of golf balls on this hill, for sure.
Yo, how does it hail? Like, what is that? Like, is it ice?
I believe it's ice. Yeah.
But it doesn't snow in Florida, but it hails.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, God is funny. We're just gonna, if we just gonna
Yeah,
do it like that.
yeah, I
That
guess so.
nigga is
Hilarious.
hilarious.
Yeah, but listen, man, it's your boy Chitty Bang, the Most High, here with the Reasonable Wrestling Podcast. Check us out on RW Podcast One if you guys want to check up on our Reasonable Wrestling takes during Raw, SmackDown, AEW, Impact, whatever's going down, NGPW. We'll be tweeting out there. Instagram Reasonable Wrestling Podcast. And thank you for watching us here on YouTube or on SoundCloud. Thank y'all for listening. But yeah, if you're listening on one or the other, check us out on the other spot. Follow, like, subscribe, do all that good shit if you like our takes. Yeah, but we're here to tackle the week that was.
One time,
what a week it was.
I
Go ahead.
gotta start off. Hold on, before we kind of talk wrestling. You gave me the invitation before.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, let's go ahead.
The week that was consisted of the highly anticipated return of the Spider-Verse. This has been my first Marvel experience since Black Panther 2. So, I missed out on Ant-Man, Quantumanium, Galaxy 3, what else done flew out under? I ain't even watched God of Thunder or whatever that shit was for Thor. Nigga,
Ragnarok,
yeah. I ain't watched none of that. And so it's been, shout out to the Black people. It's been Black Panther 2 and Spider-Verse 2 is what I've seen this year, nigga. My little $15 is going to your box office.
we know how to get Chris out, the house, okay? Just put some Black people on screen. Some Black people superpowers, and he's there. Black people with superpowers. Oh my God, that's how you
man, nigga. So I went and seen it today, and I can't. It's hard. I can't even spoil it for you.
No, don't spoil it. Just tell me how you feel about the general thing and the general premise of it all.
For first and foremost, without hyperbolic statements, when we talk about cinema on the other end of what we talk about, wrestling and everything like that, the inspiration comes from this. You felt this whole movie from the opening. Listen, bro, the shit is so dope. I just listened to the score on the way home, my nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, the opening scene is a crazy dope adaptation of the Spider-Man theme, but it's a drum solo. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like super rock hard, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like grunge, punk rock band. And that's not really my whole steez, but when you do it right, you can get a nigga, encapsulated in it. You know what I mean? So from the very first scene of the solo, the drum solo, and everything surrounding it, to the bro, the last 10 minutes of that movie might be the best cinema I've seen out of the MCU, out of its history.
But is it MCU though? Like, I think that's. Mind you, I don't know because I have not watched the first one.
They mentioned the multiverse several times, so it's only right that I kind of incorporate that and associate that, because also you go back to Far Away From Home, right? And that whole ordeal where
that was the best Spider-Man to me, but I haven't seen Into the Spider-Verse or this next one, so I really am behind on the animated stuff. The animated stuff I don't like always, run to see. I'm a live action guy, but everybody's talking about the last one, saying, "Oh, it's one of the best Spider-Man movies." Then now you're saying this is one of the best ones. This one I've heard from you and other people.
This was better than the first one, and the first one was the best Spider-Man of like Tobey Maguire, Tom Holland, the middle nigga, whoever that nigga is. What is that nigga? Garfield. I
like his movie.
The middle child don't never get no love, nigga.
I don't get it. Like, I'm a middle child, I guess. And I feel like that's what I think. I like Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, to be honest with you. But yeah, man. When it comes
But no,
down to
it was it okay. Without spoiling it, we always think about what we would be or who we would be in another universe.
Mhm.
That's it. That's what I'm
All right,
leaving you with.
bet.
That's
I
what I'm leaving
definitely
you
gotta
with.
check it out.
That's what
I
I'm
gotta watch
leaving
the
you with.
first one. I gotta watch this. I know what I'm
Man.
gonna do. I'm gonna watch the first one, and I'm gonna, probably within the next week or so, and then maybe I'll treat myself. I've been locked in, just working this week, but
That's what I did
I'll
today,
find, I'll
man. I
find,
got
I'll
up
find a
today
way
and I
to
just
get
watched it.
around to see that. That's what's up. Though it's good to get out, check something out. That got some time to yourself and enjoy, movie live, in theaters. That's
Nigga
what's up.
ask me, kid. Ooh, it'll be fun if the kids can go. Nigga, when they ever go to a movie, y'all not finna ruin this one. Nigga, you better take y'all as a Little Mermaid or something. Nigga, I am not gonna fuck around with
Are you
y'all.
are you going to see Little Mermaid?
Nigga, I might, nigga, if she wanna see something, she ain't finna. We ain't see. Listen, I tell you, I can go a second time now. I can tell you that, nigga. You talking my first time, nigga?
Yeah.
My very first time. Nigga, you are not involved. You know what I'm saying? Like, get out of here.
All right,
You
but yeah, it's good that you went out and saw that. I definitely gotta check it out. If you guys
know,
was listening, check out Spider Man. Looks like it's gonna be special.
it is. It is. It was really good. It was really good. And speaking of niggas in multiple universes, Kenny Omega, right? Great fucking segue. This nigga is first and foremost, let's throw it back. We never really tapped into Double or Nothing.
We got you.
We know Double or Nothing is leading into uh, 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 the joint in London, All In, All Out, All In, one of the joints, right? And we know that they got the Forbidden Door joint, right? So those are the two big, grandiose joints that they working towards. And that nigga Kenny Omega is in several universes at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So he's working a really great angle, or worked a pretty decent angle with Blackpool Combat Club, which led to the Anarchy in the Arena match at Double or Nothing. So let's kind of get your rounds on that real quick as we fast forward to what happened this week.
Hey, the seems like the general consensus is, and I'm gonna say this first because I tell my just my parallel to that is that people enjoy the Anarchy to the Arena and they enjoy the Fatal Four Way. And I'm not going here to say that they shouldn't enjoy that because honestly, it's good. It's a definitely type of thing we're not seeing everywhere
It's
else.
silly.
Fatal Four Way was very fluid. The Fatal Four Way and the Anarchy in the Arena match was Anarchy in the Arena as we saw. It was chaos from beginning to end. But I'll be honest with you, the Anarchy in the Arena stipulation does not it doesn't tickle my fancy. I don't like it. Like I'm not a fan of it per se. I do enjoy the craziness sometimes and the violence because I genuinely like violence, but I don't like the unhinged like anything. It doesn't make sense to me. Was that the thing again?
Yes, it was,
Oh
brother.
my god, shit! I don't know what the hell that was. It might be somebody's dog. I don't know. Somebody else's dog. Um, but yeah, I'm not into the whole anarchy in the arena style of match quality because when it comes to the match quality of it, it seems like oh shit, my guy. It seems like anything can happen at any time, but I don't get the structure of it. Like the pin ring, correct? Am I incorrect? But I don't know. See, even the fact that I'm asking that question, if the pin does have like the rules of it. Now I watch it. It's spots after spots. It's brutal. The kick explosion, super kick was dope. I didn't know how the hell that happened. Thumbtacks in the foot. So many different things that were, you know, moments in that match, and I think that's what this match is created for. It's this match is created to just make match moments happen, spot that are innovative and whether it be through violence or creativity and brutality. Now, the build up to it. Also, I wasn't all into it, but if you gave me a good match, I'm down to see it and through. Um, the build up to this has been obviously for like 3 months, right? So when you look at it from that point of view, did it pay off for me? Not necessarily, because the big payoff was the turn of Kanose Takashita. Kanose Takashita, I think, is super talented. I think this moment here would have been more interesting if Don Callis turned, and then we got Konosuke turning on Dynamite, and to add to help out Don Callis, and then they, have their speech like on the night of on the after the post show after Double or Nothing. So when it comes to the the elite versus the BCC, I hope it's through, because I think that there's levels to, I think it's time to move past it. But I'm glad. I think that's what my takeaway is. I'm glad that it's over. It was a decent match. I give the match maybe like a B minus, even though it was, people were saying it was great. I don't think it was. That's not my cup of tea, but I'm not going to kill it. I think it still was some spots there that I thought were creative, and some definitely violence. But my whole thing is that the build, did it warrant the violence? Did the build warrant the violence? And I don't think that the build necessarily did, and I don't think that the violence necessarily was structured in the way that I understood it as a wrestling fan. You know me, I'm a guy I like work rate. I like work rate. I like, you know, rules. That's why I like the Heritage Cup in NXT. I like the Pure Championship. So when I can't kind of wrap my head around the whole thing, it kind of takes me out of it a bit. But yeah, that's what my take is on that.
I can't necessarily completely disagree with you on that, just for the fact that um the violence just for violence sake sometimes just ain't niggas bags, you know what I mean? But as far as what they were trying to accomplish and what they were trying to do and the story that they were trying to tell, um I don't necessarily fault them, because they were trying to just incorporate the six hottest guys in their company, accentuate them, essentially. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, it's hit or miss, right? We talk about, the bloodline on the other end, not the kind of that, but it was like, how many times can they tell a story of Sammy and KO
Mhm.
compellingly with the bloodline, even though
But
they're
you
great
know what would have happened? Let's,
experiences.
what I compare it to. What if Kenny and what if the Bloodline and Sammy and KO versus Bloodline happen again with no title on the line? Like, that would have made it like even less entertaining than it was. It would be like, all right, we're just seeing a tag match in the main event for what? You know, this here, like I kept saying the entire time, they should have the trios championship at least, or something attached to it,
Yeah,
and that's, I mean, me, I'm a guy who's like a title guy. Like, I'm like, all right, if we're gonna fight with a purpose, a method to our madness. Like, we need to prove that we're the best, and when we leave, we're taking this with us, kind of thing, to prove that we are supreme, and the BCC leaving Double or Nothing with the trios championship would not only have put the trios championship on the map, it would have left us with, a strong faction to say that we are the number one, group
also
here in AEW.
also to piggyback off that, Anarchy in the Arena match should have incorporated that feud, should have had House of Black.
House of Black in it. Thank you. That's what I would have done too. I didn't want to even say that, because I'm like, all right, I don't want to take away from the the one on one team versus team thing. Either you keep the title on the elite, or you make a trios Anarchy in the Arena, which I would have been like, oh, okay, this is different. This is more
That's
interesting to
super
me.
different. Exactly.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
we don't need 4 on 4. We can take one guy out of this thing, make it a trios thing. You still got
I
six
would have
men.
loved Daniel Bryan to be on commentary while his guys went to war.
That would have been dope, or you could have put him in a whole different angle. You didn't need him to do that. He could have just been a general. Tell him to go out there, been on commentary. Maybe he got involved a little bit. Maybe he gets put through a table. I don't know, but you can have, obviously they're all over the arena, so he might have got involved. You can still have something happen with him.
Or he could have. It would have been a great setup for him getting involved, right? The numbers advantage, him getting
Yeah,
involved. Tanosuke, Kanosuke come out there, and you think he's going to even the odds, and then he
yeah,
joins like Boop Combat Club. Like that would
that
have
would have
been.
been sick. So that's my take on. I think this is probably my least favorite AEW pay per view, man. And I've been a big happy. I've been very pleased with their shows, man. They pay live events. They have hit for me. Like even if they're not completely perfect, they have really great matches. And to this one, it kind of even though they're long as hell, it's like in the middle of the night. That's why we couldn't do our podcast because they went crazy long.
Bro, I hit you up. You said how was the main? I said I liked it. It was long, and I think that you like fell asleep right after I sent that text. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You said something about Tony Khan, like you didn't hear, like I'm already sleeping. I'm like, all right, this guy watching Tony Khan talk. I am not watching Tony Khan talk for an
Well,
hour.
I
Like,
was watching. I was watching the post game because AEW, honestly, realistically, when we talk about what they've added to wrestling, WWE, I never kind of really paid attention to if they did post media scrums and everything like that. It looked like that they picked up on what AEW did, right?
yeah,
And AEW created a nice bit of traction for themselves. Not on purpose, but like, now these post
yeah,
games essentially are like must see.
must see. Not for me. I mean, unless Punk is there, I'm not watching it. Like, I mean, unless
I
Punk,
will say
somebody who
this.
I feel like I need want to hear from. If not, I could watch it later on. Like
That's true. Well,
I watch MJF and that's it pretty much. Like,
Orange Orange Cassidy was surprising to me because you know how my steez is with homie. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm finally coming on board to what it is that he is and what it is that he's doing.
you're like 3 years late.
Yeah, man, but granted, he wasn't this when this nigga was in a championship match with Pac and Kenny Omega. What was my sentiment? Get this nigga the fuck out.
Yeah, man. Me, I could spot his talent. Oh, like I turned pretty quickly once I saw him on AEW because I was the same way as you. Like I didn't get it at first, but pretty early I was like, yeah, I get what he's doing now. I didn't see obviously he wasn't this. You're right, but I saw the potential of him becoming one of a really good wrestler who can get the crowd behind them as a babyface.
But no disrespect to him though. If they would have put Jungle Boy in that match, you know what the fuck I would have said. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you can spot talent. It's just how you position them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, Orange Cassidy has never been a person that has positioned himself not to be a player, but for him to be a stalwart, right? For him to be like an unabashed, like fourth ace in a rotation on the baseball team. Like, we got some of this nigga. You're like
Speaking of fourth ace on the baseball team, did you see Ricky Starks talk about the four pillars? I think you sent it to us, right? Listen, man, I loved what he had to say. I wish we can play it here if we can find it, but what he had to say was basically that it's bullshit. Like he just called it out. He said the four pillars thing is bullshit, and we'll talk about the match. He said, "Listen, you're gonna say that, you guys are the ones paying my, bringing all the money in to pay my paycheck. Then cool, show me, show me what it is.
That
I'll make
nigga
you guys
Ricky
the four
said,
pillars."
"Show me the quarter hours, nigga.
Show me the quarter hours, and he has. He's like, don't call me a pillar. I can be a freaking foundation. I can be a roof. I could be whatever. He's like, listen, we all put in our time and work to make AEW what it is. Say these guys are the four most important ones. It's kind of like fuck everybody else, And I completely agree with him. I think it was a good match to book. We've done it now. It was a gimmick, like you said. Now it's over.
This is the thing, though. Not to overstep you, right? When niggas live that gimmick shit. You know what I'm saying? Like hey, brothers and sisters, we just got on TV 4 years ago, right? You
Mhm.
telling me that they have to bring in Moxley, they have to bring in Punk, they give the title to Jericho, they have to do all this, and you telling me that these four niggas are the pillars? We called that shit from jump. You know what I'm saying? Like you telling me these niggas are gonna hold your company up. Man, listen. You know what I'm saying?
Wardlow's more of a pillar.
Huh?
Wardlow's more of a pillar than to me. Ricky Starks himself, like you can see the
Nigga, Britt Baker is a pillar.
Britt Baker. Thank you,
Nigga, Britt Baker's a
Jade.
more of a pillar, nigga, than fucking Sammy Guevara is. What are you talking about? Like, yes, he was TNT champion, but nobody gave a fuck about those reigns. Not man, three of them, right? Because he's been 3 times champion. Nobody give a fuck, nigga. You know what I'm
Now
saying?
he had some. Here's the thing about Sammy
Great
Guevara.
match. Listen, great matches. Nobody's taking that away.
Yeah, I think he's one of the most talented superstars as far as what he can actually do and accomplish in that ring that I've seen in a long time. I think he can be a little bit more polished in what he brings, puts it all together. But his character work, he has it. But one day, Sammy Guevara can be. I'm not sure if it will happen. Can be the best heel in the business. One day he can be the best. And you can clip this if you want.
In what business?
In the professional wrestling business, Sammy Guevara has the potential to be the best heel one day. And I'm sorry, you can put your hat over your head with all you want, but the potential is there. Will he achieve that potential? I don't know, but it's a matter of him putting it all together. And I think sometimes it takes time for people to find where they are as a performer altogether. Look at Roman Reigns; it took him 10 years, 8 years to really find himself as what he feels comfortable, knows who he is. We've seen Rhea Ripley this past year, 2022, come into her own on a different level. And I think it does take time for people to find that level where they have now found their perfect pocket. Sammy hasn't found that yet. He just hasn't. He's been a background player to Chris Jericho the entire time. This even his four pillars things, he was kind of like a background guy. He's about to be taking a fall for MJF was a whole story, and I get it. You want to put that, but I don't think that helps him in any facet. I think you need to have him on his own. He can't be part of any group. I think he should spend a whole year a part of no faction in AEW and see what he sinks or swim. Him and his wife can figure, do a thing like where she's his manager. Congratulations on the upcoming pregnancy, the baby. And but I do think that he has that potential. I don't know if he will fulfill it though. So as far as talent in the ring and as far as his ability to get people to hate him, it's there. You just got to bring it all together. You can't hear you. I think you're muted.
This is my thing, right? Sammy can't leapfrog niggas ahead of him as far as what we talk about, right? Um, because Tez is going to be the best heel in the business.
I mean, Tez has that potential too, but it's like I'm saying right now, they have not fulfilled that potential. Even Tez has not fulfilled that potential of what he's going to be yet. All I'm talking about is potential right now. I'm not saying it's going to happen for him or Tez. Tez, we think that it probably more likely will. Don't get me wrong, but I see something in Sammy, man. I'm not just like I saw something in Darby when I saw him. It's like I saw something in Orange Cassidy. It doesn't mean that something is going to take over the industry of professional wrestling. I think that Sammy Guevara has a thing about him where it's easy to hate. So I think that if you just sink into that, tap into that, and then become do you have certain angles that push that narrative, you can then become a top heel. Maybe not number one, but even if you're top three, Sammy has that potential for sure. And you're under the tutelage of Chris Jericho, you just now need to get underneath the learning tree and lead the learning tree and start to grow on your own. And I think that he has the potential. He's still young, Tez will be a supreme superstar one day, babyface or heel. But
But the
You
reason
know,
why the only reason why it's not necessarily a pushback on the Sammy thing is just Sam. Listen, it's like NFL, it's like basketball, right? What's the rule of thumb, right? In business, right? You can take a look at us or not us, or just things can change with the span of, like you say, circumstance. But more times than not, um, the player is what it is. The business is what it is. The situation is what it is, unless it's some other circumstances that will align with what it is that's already presented. Sammy Guevara, to me, has not tapped out on his potential, right? But I do think and I do believe that as he's striding and finding his steps and who he can be and what he will be, there will be laps. And I'm not just going to bring up Tez or anything like that. I do believe that, like you mentioned, if Wardlow looked like he got a little tinge of that shit. Now, if Wardlow go on a path, right? That's a scary nigga.
mm-hmm.
That's a scary sight. With Arn Anderson literally putting the gun to this nigga head and telling him to pull his gun out to another nigga head. Hey, if you don't pull your gun out, I'm gonna shoot you. And Warlock, I gotta shoot you, nigga. I want to see that nigga.
Yeah, man, I want to see that too,
You know what I'm
man. I
saying?
think
Like, I'm
that
just saying, like, and that's where AEW has really great stuff. They have really
yeah,
good
and
potential.
shout out to Wardlow. He had a good match.
Yeah.
He had a really good match with Christian. I loved it. That was one of my favorite matches of the night. So I think the potential is absolutely there for him. Another person I saw potential with Chris Statlander, Jay Cargill, Taya Valkyrie. That whole sequence, all of them. I mean, a lot of people. I don't know what their opinion on. That was one of my favorite parts of the night. All three of those women captured a moment, and I think that was Jay Carter's best match with Taya Valkyrie that led to one of her best moments, which is her losing the championship to give a rub to Chris Statlander on her return, which was amazing, So
And the fact that Jade is that in 2 years,
mm,
you know what I'm
she's
saying?
somebody, man. She is,
Despite the lack of, you know, sprucing up, you know what I mean? Like she's
nah,
been
she's a
able to.
superstar, man. There's nothing you can like. You can't hide her behind nothing. Like you can't. No matter what you do, you can put freaking a paper bag over her and she's still gonna shine as a superstar. Like you can't hide her shine. She's a superstar. Now she got even better on the ring. Now she's lost a championship. It gives her time to like, all right, let go of that streak, and she has now can evolve her character. It's an opportunity for her,
Absolutely.
whether that's turning face. And I hope we get the blood and guts match. I really do hope that's still in the picture
Well,
because
Tony, I
the
mean,
women's
listen,
division needs Jade Cargill's
yeah, and this is what I'm saying.
presence.
But this,
Real quick, the TBS championship is way more prestigious to me right now after that run than the AEW Women's Championship. And I'm not sure if that was their plan, but that's how I feel right
nah,
now.
I can't ride with you on that. But I will say that Tony Storm, the new AEW
You
champion.
can't just say because that's the AEW Women's Championship that it's not.
No, I can
That is,
say I can say that you going first and foremost, you're not finna fucking add salt onto the room with Jamie Hayter, my nigga. I'm not finna have you say that just because her.
come on, don't do that.
No,
That's
okay,
not what I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah, you are because listen, Thunder Rosa had the title, Tony Storm had the title, Jamie Hayter had the title, Tony Storm had the title. Those are heavyweight hitters, my nigga. They all put on bangers. They all have really great storylines. They had all really great matches. But somehow you're gonna tell me Jade is a more prestigious title? I'm not hearing that.
Yes. I think that
I'm not hearing that. That's the bias talking.
you can say he's biased or whatever you're saying, but I can spit my bias because I have receipts. Well, from me, the last time the women's championship was important was when Britt Baker had her feud with Thunder Rosa. That was when it felt like, all right, this is the top women's title in the division. This run, the past 6 months, this whole year, Jade Cargill had the best angle. I don't. She has in the women's division in AEW. Her entire Valkyrie has been the thing that I've been like, okay, checking in on. At least
But
for me,
it just happened.
Yeah.
But you've been down. But this is what I'm saying. You've been down on Jamie this whole time, so you've been searching. You be like, yeah, can somebody?
No, I haven't been searching. No, I mean, even with the Athena Jade, I was there and I saw the match. And I was intrigued by it. I think that things started petering when Tony Storm was doing that interim championships thing, and then she finally became the women's champion officially, and then she lost it to Jamie Hayter. Now she got it back, and Jamie had a run of good matches. Don't get me wrong; she's a great wrestler, and I hope she recovers soon, quickly, because she's great. The women's division needs her. She's very talented, but let's be real right now. We haven't checked in on the AEW Women's Championship all year. That's not a good thing. We haven't had nothing to talk about their championship on a podcast.
That's
all
not.
year.
I'm not about to put that and say that that's completely the fault of the champion. That now,
No,
now
I'm saying it's a 12 AEW as a whole, not champion. I'm not saying Jamie Hayter is a problem.
right.
I just gave her props.
But this is what I'm trying to. This is what I'm trying to say now. None of the champion, like Jade with Athena, Jade with Red Velvet, Jade with Taya. Those were an improvement to get up to the level of where the AEW championship was at one point.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to say it surpassed it when it just got up to a level of substance. Because
I hear where you're coming from, but for me, call me a prisoner of the moment or whatever it is. But there was 2 title changes this night. And the one that we stood out was a TBS Women's Championship. There was 2 Women's Championship title changes, and that's my point. Is that people that pop was crazy.
Well, you're prisoner of the moment because it's not necessarily that the championship has prestige now. It's the fact that Chris was Jade and Chris was on a trajectory of this a while ago, and we know Chris tore her knee up and everything like that, and so that delayed it. But that was a blessing in disguise, because if Jade and Chris were to fucking happen earlier, Chris would have took the title off of Jade, and Chris would have had that title throughout this time. And I'm not playing whataboutism, but I'm talking the Spider-Verse thing, right? In another universe. In another universe.
She didn't get injured, but hey, that's not what happened.
But I understand that. But this is what I'm trying to say. When this is what's frustrating. When Thunder Rosa won the championship and fought through injury to win the championship, won a championship, and then had to relinquish the championship, automatically, yes, that title is going to feel a little mad. And when Tony Storm, a mad babyface, so that title has been losing shit before it got to Jamie. I think Jamie elevated it to me when Jamie got it, and we've been stuck in a holding pattern because we never got what we thought we were supposed to get. Now, we were supposed to get Britt and Jamie.
Thank you. It makes the most sense. Period. Sometimes what makes the most sense is the right decision. This outcast bullshit has, oh my God, been a wet blanket on the entire division, bro. So yeah, I turned to the TBS Championship where I got Athena and Jade, where I got the baddies, where I got now Taya and Jade, and over time it built and it didn't lose complete steam. It built and it made fucking sense. All I'm asking is for shit to make sense. So that's why, to me, yeah, the TBS Championship means more to me than the AEW Women's Championship at this moment, because that moment right there, and that's what I say wrestling is about. Wrestling is about creating moments. That moment right there, all right, boom. AEW Women's Division, create a moment like that again, and we'll have the conversation again. But until you can create a moment where the crowd going crazy for Chris Statlander and making a return, and Jay Carter dropping the title to her, even the match, even the match was good.
When we just talked about a couple weeks ago, you diminished when Thunder Rosa came back. Thunder Rosa
because it
being
was because of the way that she did it. Have you seen her since? Like the way they did it was lame. It
come
should be
back
a
for
bigger return.
Collision should be aired for June 17th.
You
What I'm
feel like
talking
see, I get
no
it. I get that's how they wanted to brand it. I still think it's the wrong way to go about making that return happen. Instead of just going into the offense after Rusev or Miro just went into the office. I think it's kind of like redundant. One and two, you lose the steam of her coming back. Whereas you could have had her just done a million different things that would have
but
made it a moment.
why you say that? Well, as you say, because I'm not ignoring the fact that create another moment. This is what I'm trying to say. Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm is going to be a moment. You
We'll
know what I
see.
mean?
I hope they go.
That's a
Let's
built-in
see if they're
feud.
smart enough
Thunder,
to go with that.
why wouldn't they?
Chris, let's talk. Come on. AEW wasn't smart to do Britt and Jamie Hayter. They weren't
Hold
smart enough to do uh freaking Wardlow and Will Hobbs for a long time. Finally, they did it. It was late. They weren't smart enough to do Ricky Starks and Will Hobbs as tag champion. They weren't smart enough to do a lot of things that were like, yo, this makes freaking sense. They don't go by what makes sense. Sometimes they just do whatever's in their fucking plans and they just go with it. And I mean, hey, that's what they
Well,
like.
I would say, and I would say to me and for you, I won't speak for you, but as a creative, a lot of things is not going to waver us if we have an idea, right? Regardless of the fact that somebody else say that we like, not personal things. Like I say, yo, let me see the script. You're like, listen, nigga, you can't see the script right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, let me see the script. You're like, nah, nigga, I got a vision for this, and until I actually see it through, even on paper, you can't see it, right? So because if I come in and give a little red mark or whatever it came there, you like, nigga, I ain't actually do all that. So I can for Tony, I'm not caping, but I can see like we say this all the time with WWE sometimes, right? When that injury bug happens, because they had an injury bug on the men's side, and they were able to power through because Moxley was able to make sense of something. It's really muddled when you bring Saraya back, when you have the built-in tension between Jamie and Britt.
It's cop out.
What's a cop out?
Because honestly, it's not muddled because you have more talent, bro. Like you fumbled Saraya, even you fumbled Ruby Riott, you fumbled all of them. I feel like there's so many people that have a buzz when they come to AEW, right? And they just let that buzz dwindle to make them just blend in with the rest of the roster. If you bring in Saraya, you have to capitalize on that with her babyface steam that she had. People want to see her come back. She came back as a babyface to turn her, heel within a week or a couple weeks or a month even, because she didn't. She wrestled. I think it was poor taste. I do. And then having Ruby Riott have the struggle between her be the angle, it was corny. I think that what they did was not because it was corny, bro. Like it's not what they did was the problem. It wasn't like, oh, it's got muddled because there's too many girls. No, this is super talented. That's even more of a reason why you should be able to utilize them in the best qualities. I mean, Ruby Riott's one of your biggest baby faces on the roster, and you turned her heel to join and be a secondary to Paige and Tony Storm, or sorry, and Tony Storm. You had Jamie Hayter be a secondary to Britt Baker the entire time, while Britt Baker is handling all the promos. And when Jamie Hayter can talk herself, like it's the way they handle the championship and the angles all together. It's their fault. They should own that shit. And guess what? The Tony Storm and Jamie Hayter match has gotten terrible reviews because they fucked up. It wasn't good. Even the match was worse than the TBS Championship match. So hey man, to me, you can say that it's not fair to say it's biased, whatever. But yeah, the TBS Championship means more at this moment. Shout out to Chris Statlander. Welcome back. Run and show everybody why you're the top woman in the division at this point, because there's the door is wide open to do that. Put it that way.
I will close out the comments to say Um, it's only important because a nigga. It's subjective. We say it all the
Yeah,
time,
it is.
right? We say it's subjective because if you telling me that yes, they have more talent, yes, they could have built more secondary feuds, but the introduction of Saraya and Britt was not bad. I think the turn of when it got bad is when they did a double turn, right? Once they did a double turn, it was really hard for us to buy into liking the pillar and the killer. You know what I'm saying? Like it was very difficult for
Yeah, I
that.
forgot about that shit.
But
Sick.
but that was fire. But Tony Storm, we talk about finding your pocket, right? Tony Storm was not a good baby. You see what I'm saying?
No,
Like
she's not.
so
She's
so
not.
so that's
She
the
wasn't either, honestly.
you know
But
what I'm
I
saying? Like
wasn't talking about her. I was talking about Paige, Soraya, and Ruby Riott. Maybe Tony should have been turned heel for sure. But Paige, Soraya, Ruby Riott, they were baby faces, man. And honestly, Britt Baker is great as a heel. Jamie Hayter should have stayed a baby face. Like there's a couple of things that you could just tweak a little bit and kept the steam. And it's not just us that are saying this, bro. I'm telling you, the general consensus is that people are waiting for blood and guts. Or we hope we get blood and guts. And you know what people are waiting for? Jade Cargill to turn babyface. That's what all people are waiting for Jade Cargill to turn babyface and join the originals. That's what everybody's been talking about. That's what we're waiting for in women's
well,
division.
I mean,
If
Tony
that's what we're
Storm
waiting
called her
for,
out.
then
Tony
huh?
Storm called her out in the press conference. So
He called who out?
Jade.
What do you say?
Well, I mean, they asked Tony Storm about about Jade, being a challenger, and then she essentially was like, "Didn't she lose already? Like, she's not my competition." You know what I'm saying? Like, she's no competition to me. And she's like, if she won it, she'll get smacked up too. And I'm like,
Oh, Tony
ooh,
Storm said that. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, shit. So there you go. Built-in feud right there. I think that, she's talking her shit because she's champion. But yo, I baby girl, you you ain't it right now, bro. Like, I'm sorry, but Tony, you got to do a lot. You got to do more than that to get people excited, man. And I hope she does have a good reign this time because she tried it as a baby face, wasn't all that. Try it as a heel. Let's see how it goes. You got Ruby, Soho, and Soraya behind you to support you, and then you can bring in some other people, whether it be Athena, but we need that blood and guts much to drum up intrigue in this women's division. Maybe you can have good matches, but I'm talking about an actual angle where we can be like, damn, yo, like this is a good story. That's what I want to see.
Speaking of good stories, one that isn't one.
Great transition. I was waiting for it. I was like, he's about to go the other way. I can tell.
Yo, what's going on with this Bullet Club Gold shit?
Oh man, another fumble of the bag. AEW so close but so far. So close but so far, man.
Yo, I am so uninterested in Jay White now, cuz, and
It's just
subsequently, I'm so uninterested in Ricky Starks right now. I mean,
God.
Ricky Starks can still cut a great promo,
Do you hear what you're saying, bro?
bitch, but like, I'm,
Do you
I'm
hear
out.
do you hear the words that are coming out of your mouth? I'm so uninterested in Jay White and Ricky Starks. Where a year ago you're like, this guy's the catalyst. He had that great promo in New Japan. Ricky Starks a year ago, you're like, this guy is the next guy up, TNT
This
champion.
is why. This
Get
is
him
why
away
I'm
from
reluctant to
Taz.
give AEW all my love. All my love is for you. Man, please,
AEW is gonna hurt you, man.
don't
You
sue me,
cannot trust
please.
AEW. And I'm now on the side of like, yeah, this been 3 years. The gloves are off for me. Like you've had time to grow your superstars and make and notice talent and do something with it. Like Jay White, God, one of the
Jay White
worst
and Juice
debuts. One of
Robinson.
the worst debuts. Talk about Rosa and Amira coming back, return. Jay White is one of the worst debuts of all time in wrestling history. Shit, Shockmaster, all that shit. It's not maybe worse than that, but it's one of the worst to me because you have an opportunity and you missed it. And everything he's done since has been mid. And it's so sad to say because he's attached to somebody who also should not be anywhere near the word mid in Ricky Starks because these guys they deserve better. They deserve better. I mean, I'm not sure why it's not interesting, bro. Bullet Club Gold is whack. Um, Juice Robinson never been a big fan of his, but I think he can be a great sidekick to Jay White becoming a really strong heel. Absolutely, But this is not coming together at all.
Nope.
Some way, somehow, who's gonna get over in this? Is it gonna be Jay White? Is it gonna be Ricky Starks? Somebody has to take the L in this angle, And that's the sad part about it is that whoever leaves after this angle as the loser is going to have a a hill to climb, and they shouldn't have because Jay White and Ricky Starks are a huge, talent. Do they can overcome it? Absolutely, but I mean, shit, Ricky Starks get out of AEW, go to NXT, bro. That's what I'm waiting for.
I think Ricky Starks don't even really need to do the NXT way, but I think he will though. You know what I'm saying?
I think NXT with Ricky Starks would be great. I think he would be hilarious on there. I think he would have a lot to say. I think he would be great. I think that there's a couple people in AEW that I think that are kind of can are kind of over time. Put it this way, there's going to be talents there that outgrow AEW. Like what they because it's going to be the same cycle of going out there having great matches and kind of being the same place on the card because they don't really have a structure. And guess who's at the top? It's going to be the Elite. It's going to be the Blackpool Comic Club. There's going to be maybe Adam Cole, MJF, and that's and Chris Jericho, and that's it. So that's the top. So they're going to be stuck in a holding pattern unless you can break through that glass ceiling. It's going to be tough, and they're going to get frustrated and leave. So Ricky Starks is one of those guys I see leaving. Um, shit.
Especially if we're bringing it full circle here, we talking about 2024 with MJF and Tony Khan doing what he can to keep fucking MJF instead of not paying attention to every. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you can all. I mean, listen. Let's talk about Collision real quick. This nigga CM Punk is back.
I love it.
Everybody knew it. Everybody called it. We was talking about it at one point, and you was like, "Don't nobody else need to fucking do a thing but Tony Khan." You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, but if he gonna be working with niggas, like he gotta be, he gotta be able to work with niggas. You know what I'm saying?
Call me old school, but I agree with Jim Cornette, man. Yo, grab your balls and make a decision and stick with it. Like you got you're the you are.
When are we listening to Jim Cornette? I haven't heard that nigga in like 5
Listen,
years.
I'll tell you right now. Every now and then, when I see Jim Cornette pop up on my feed on YouTube, and he's talking about Tony Khan, I click on it because that shit is funny as hell. I do this pure comedy. That dude hates Tony Khan's way of booking, and I mean honestly, I'm not gonna front, man. He has a point. The guy has actually a point. Not that he's right on everything, but yo, Jim Cornette has a point of like, yo, man, never should the booker be taking advice from their talent on who they can be in a part of the company or not, and that's where I stand on it too. So I'm glad to see CM Punk back. I'm glad that maybe
So
they had the meeting
you don't think Vince ever done that?
to see if somebody's if oh could I bring somebody in here and talk to his talent and then be the decision on if they come or not? No, I think Vince maybe had mentioned, hey, what do you think about this person? But I think he's the guy who's end all be all, whether people like him or not. I think that Vince is going to be the guy who says, yeah, this guy's coming or not. Like, he's not going to say, hey, Chris Jericho, I know you don't have beef with Goldberg. Are you okay with that? Maybe we should sit down and have a conversation, Chris Jericho, with you and Goldberg before I bring him in. That's bullshit. Vince is gonna bring in Goldberg, and then you guys figure it out like grown men in the backstage. If you guys got to fight about it, fight. Oh well, like that's what it is. And Tony Khan is, I get it. I think that Tony Khan probably is a really nice guy. I think he's a really nice guy. He wants to create a great work environment, and he loves his talent. He, give him those big ass hugs and all that stuff. That's his thing. He's a different type of boss. But I think that on some levels you can't be super close with your talent that they feel like they have a right to make decisions the way that you should be making solely for yourself
Well,
in business.
I want to just interject one time, and you can finish. We
Yeah,
are
go
talking
ahead.
about a guy who hired Urban Meyer. Okay. I
His
think
dad hired him. I mean, he didn't hire him.
Tony Khan is the director and operator of fucking. He was on the Lebertar show and said that Urban Meyer in that building makes people better and did the whole fucking spiel, and everything like that.
Bad
So
decision.
this, hey, that's my point. That's my point. Maybe you need to run some shit through people, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he's learning from his ways, and he's like, hey man, I gotta run some shit through people because clearly my decision making ain't up to snuff. You know what I'm saying? So
Tony Khan, man. I'm glad that he made the decision. If they had the meeting or not, whether they agreed backstage, hey, listen, we can squash it. All in all, AEW is going to get a victory here because CM Punk creates cash. Controversy creates cash, and CM Punk, wherever he goes, people are talking about this guy. One thing CM Punk has a talent to do, whether he's a great wrestler, which he is, but whether he still got it, that's debatable. He's still a great talker, but he's always relevant. Doesn't matter if he loses a UFC fight. Doesn't matter if he goes and creates a comic book. It doesn't matter if he's talking wrestling with Renee Young on a Fox TV show. The guy is always in the media of like, what's CM Punk doing next? He creates for some reason he's a polarizing figure, and I think that's an opportunity if you're being smart business wise to say, hey, we can create a whole new show and bring eyes to this show with CM Punk's debut, re-debut. We're running it back. Rinse, wash, repeat. CM Punk comes back, but this time he's getting booed. This time people want to see him lose. This time people want to see him get his, you know, his just due, like his upcoming thing, and then get his ass kicked. Like let's turn it on the heel side and see that, the fans, hate this guy now. I think that's where we should go here. CM Punk as a heel in AEW, where people are paying to see CM Punk lose. And I think that in the long run, he's probably going to be babyface again. But by doing this, you create a huge gate to see CM Punk come back, and he's a draw. Like if CM Punk even came to WWE, it'll be a draw. Like he's a draw. Period.
well, you did the great segue. Speaking of WWE, is there anything that we need to talk about other than Friday? Just let me know.
Right now,
Just let me know.
we do gotta talk about. I mean, we don't have to, but I do want to give me a quick question. Like, you let me know if we should talk about the World Heavyweight Championship and where this booking goes. Because right now we got Damian Priest on Raw next this week, challenging for a championship. I think I said Brock last week. You said Finn. Is that what you still sitting on? Finn and
Yeah,
Seth.
well, my first was Drew. I
Drew.
thought it
Okay.
was Drew, but I think what they're going with is Damien's gonna wrestle. I think Finn will then be next. Finn and Seth for the championship as a feud would be really great. And then once you
Yeah.
get past Finn and Seth, you got Drew, you got Cody around the way for SummerSlam maybe. With that roster of Raw, um,
Cody's still asking for Brock to break all his bones, so I'm not sure how long it's going to take for him to realize that it's not a good idea. But yeah, Cody versus Seth. As much as I would like to see it, don't get me wrong, it just takes a little bit out of it from me because I think that I don't want to see either one of these guys lose. The champion, like the match, and I think even Cody winning it is like a consolation of where he should have been beat Roman.
that's why I
So
said Cody should lose.
okay, maybe.
I'm,
All right,
I'm still on that wave I'm still on the wave that Cody should lose.
all right,
I'm
that
still
sounds
on the
good.
wave that Seth beats. I mean, listen, if you're gonna do it all the way, right? If you're gonna have Cody lose to Roman, lose to Brock, lose to Seth, all in big matches. Yes, nigga, you just came from there. What the fuck you thought this was? Nigga, the ghost of Miss McMahon is still here, bitch. Like, what you thought? You're not winning the big
Man,
one.
Vince McMahon is still here, bitch. Shit.
Yeah, you are not winning the big one right now. You know, like let's get that out everybody's head, right? You can
So you're gonna
sell
have to
some
earn
merch.
it.
You can be the top guy. You can motherfucking perform all the shows, kiss all the
Make a
babies,
wish.
all that
Yeah.
shit, nigga. But you losing to my 1,000-day champion, you losing to my fucking 20-year beast, and you losing to the fucking heart and soul of my company, nigga. What the fuck you thought? What you thought?
So when does he get it?
Seth
Never?
has to be satisfied. That ass. Nigga.
Seth is like, okay, now you can have the championship.
Exactly.
This is where I'm saying, like, that's what Tony Khan would do. No, you can't do it that way. Listen, Royal Rumble, Cody wins again, faces Rumble one more time. Let's go.
Tell me
Let's
back
go.
to back.
Back to back. Back to back WrestleMania build exactly the same. It wouldn't be the first time. It wouldn't be the first time. It wouldn't be the first time. So let's go. But yeah, just I'm down to see where Seth takes this. I like the belt. I like what they're doing with him. He deserves it. I did not like that AJ was on Raw. This draft is complete bullshit, bro. But let's just leave that there. You know. But hey, you know, it was a cool little tag team match. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
AJ said, "Look, my travel's late, so look, I'm trying to get this per diem. So can I wrestle? I can't get this per diem unless I show up. So I fuck with it. I fuck with it. AJ missed the flight. He had to stay and had to pick up that per diem. Luckily, he had his gear bag with him. I'm with it.
Came back from Saudi. It was like a travel, you know. It was like a layover. He's like, all right, might as well.
Man, you know how long no layovers is, nigga? Listen, ain't no direct flight to Marietta, Georgia.
Yeah, honey, I'm not coming home until next week. All right. Yeah.
Ain't no direct flight, nigga.
He even came up. He's like, "Listen, I know I'm on SmackDown. I get it." I'm like, "This guy knows this draft is complete bullshit."
Even when he landed in Atlanta, he got to drive 4 hours in the fucking sticks, nigga, to get home, brother.
Man, shout out to AJ. He probably got a big ass like a plot of land out there. Shit.
Yo, and that's why he said, "Listen, the helipad can't land tonight,
honey." Word up. But no, Raw was good though. Raw overall was good. Imperium digging that. Like I said, with Gunther, all the stuff they're doing with him. We'll see how things turn out with the Money in the Bank qualifiers. Moving forward, Ricochet's gonna be in that joint, which should be interesting. And yeah, we'll see how that turns out. But yeah, let's talk about what we came here to talk about. You know, the big main event of the week, Mr. 1,000-day reign, which is iconic. You know, throw up the ones for Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, man. First of all, the packages on SmackDown leading up to that, because I turned it on right away. Like I was there live to see, you know, Raw. I'm SmackDown this week. I'm like, I gotta see my boy Roman get crowned, like 1,000 days celebration. What they're gonna do? They waited. They're like, nah, you gotta sit down. You gotta wait until the end. But they showed a bunch of good, cool packages about building up his reign all the way up to 1,000 days, all the big matches he had along the way, and the moments he had. And I gotta say, first and foremost, that Roman Reigns, man, he put in a lot of work. Like, you know, like this is to hold the championship for 3 years straight through is a burden in itself. There's media, there's press. Wade Bryant brought it up. You guys keep yourself in shape constantly. You gotta have match after match. Now he did lighten the schedule like last year, so he wasn't there every single pay-per-view. But at the same time, he earned that by spreading his, like John Cena said in the podcast. He said that Roman Reigns has the ability to spread his energy to like 8 other guys on the roster to make them feel important as well. And that gives him the ability to like, yeah, I'm not going to be around for a little bit because the Usos are running this angle without me even on screen. Because KO and Sammy can run this angle without me on screen. Paul Heyman can run this angle without me on screen. Solo can run this angle without me on screen. It's amazing the way he has crafted his title reign to the point where it's got to the point where he has like gotten to this god level mode, where he can do that. Um, and still hold the title, and it's not necessarily not it's still the most interesting title in the world, as it should be. It's still the most interesting, storyline going on. To me, I think that the Bloodline stuff is super entertaining. It has moments of dip, like very few moments where it dipped in curiosity, but it's right back to being interest, peak of interest right now.
One thing I want to comment on you when you say do the right thing, sometimes the right thing is for you. Cody losing was the right thing. And WWE not adding extra layers to bring Cody still, to bring Seth along still, to kind of just muck up what it is that they got going was the right decision. So that's why I fought for Tony on the other end, right?
Mhm.
Because I'm seeing what WWE's doing with the Bloodline. Now, granted, nothing that AEW, but you have to at least
Okay, yeah, give it a chance.
give it a chance to let it breathe a little bit, to like.
Now I've given them 6 months this year. I'm not gonna front. AEW, whole first half of the year, I'm like, it's kind of rough. I'm not. It hasn't been as exciting as last year at all. To be honest with you, AEW has been
Well,
not.
I would say it's tough because when did MJF won the championship this year? Correct.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm. Well, no, it was the end of last year, but you know what I mean. He's most of his reign. Now, I was into the Dan Bryan that run. That was like one of my highlights. I mean, I know that you weren't interested in him like doing the same thing he did with Wardlow, but me, I thought the way they built it was interesting. I liked it. But it wasn't MJF really. It was everything around him and everything around the show. All together. From beginning to end, I watched the shows. Oh, great match here. All right, that was a good match here. But I got like for instance, and I don't mean to go back to AEW, but the whole freaking night of AEW, there was like a million Canadian destroyers, and I was like, God damn it, please stop it. Stop the Canadian destroyers. Like, I'm done with this move. Like, you guys did it 3 times in a row in one match. I was like, God, this is not entertaining to me. This is like so like maybe it's not the thing, maybe it's not my cup of tea, maybe it's not my style. But yeah, sometimes I watch the matches and it feels like, rinse repeat. Like when I watch El Vikingo, I'm like, oh, Tim and Candy Mega stands out. Boom, great match. When I see certain people, it stands out. Swerve, he has a way of doing things in that ring where I'm like, yo, he stands out, has good matches. Shout out to him. Good showing on at Double or Nothing as well. But like, it seems like a lot of the things I see, even Orange Cassidy, even though he has good matches, I'm like, I kind of seen this last week. I kind of feel that way with him. So I don't know, but
Orange Cassidy is a superhero and Cena and Bianca and everything like that. Orange Cassidy has that in-ring storytelling, right? Where he is essentially, like you say, the match is kind of the same. They're not the same, but the formula is the same, and it's like a superhero TV show, right? At the end of the day, your superhero is going to have some adversity, but at the end of the day, his hands, pockets, superpowers, do his moves, punch, but it's not always formulaic, right? He escapes, with which bring it back full circle. Spidey, right? Spidey be getting his ass up out of here sometime by the skin of his teeth. You know what I'm saying? Like Spidey would get his ass whooped and then just be like, I gotta get out of here. You're like, oh nigga, you done saved your ass. You know what I'm saying? Orange Cassidy has that ability where he can web a nigga down on a pin. You're like, you know what I'm saying? So you kind of, but again, you watch cartoons long enough, you want Spider-Man to get his ass caught. You want to have some type of more adversity than
I want him to get his ass beat at some point where it's like, oh, he's not going to get out of this. I want like to see, I don't know, throwing somebody out there. Oh shit. Samoa Joe, like Luchasaurus, say Jeff Cobb, just beat the hell out of Orange Cassidy, or Miro even,
Miro,
beat the
Miro
hell out of
Miro's the
Orange
guy. I
Cassidy.
want Swerve to win the championship. I know we was talking. We ended up back on AEW and an impromptu booking Black. But I would love Swerve to win that championship
Yeah,
and have the Mogul Embassy look like the shit.
yeah, I would think it would be dope,
And
him
now,
to represent All Atlantic and face a lot of luchadors and UK wrestlers and Japan wrestlers. Swerve with those guys, mixing it up with freaking Shibata, whoever knows, whoever will Osprey, whoever he can mix it up with. Some luchadors. That would be awesome. Him and Serpentico, it'd be ill. All that stuff I want to see. So him winning the championship would be dope. I think Orange Cassidy has, definitely put the title on the map. Don't get me wrong. Like he has definitely added to the prestige of the title with some really good performances. But AEW can be formulaic to me a little bit, where I feel like what I come there for this year has not been high level. Whereas before I was like really excited to watch it every single week. This year, I've been like, okay, I watched through it. And it feels like the energy is lower. I don't know what it is. I feel like the energy of AEW is like a little bit lower than it was last year.
and,
And
and and to bring it back to where we was just at, when we talk about WWE and the storytelling, the energy has maintained since War Games.
you know what? I can't say it has been that fever pitch,
Bro,
because the past
it's
couple months after WrestleMania has taken a little bit of a dip, but once Roman came back, it came back up again.
but
Put it that
WrestleMania, but that's the thing though. When you talk about people being able to maintain that storyline without him there,
yeah,
right?
man.
It don't feel as big because Big Dog's not there, granted.
Yeah,
But
but
when
it's
Jay,
still, it's still,
yeah, when
yeah,
Jay's sneaking behind the joint with Sammy, like, what are you doing? Like you're watching it as a show rather than watching it as a wrestling show.
yeah,
And
and
and,
that's the
and
evolution of wrestling I've seen over the past year with the bloodline and all that I really appreciate. Like I'm telling you, bro, like I want them to do this with the women's division. Like I've been saying this for a while. Like, can they like figure out a way to do this kind of storytelling with the women as well? Because if you give me the women's division like this and the men's division, I have one storyline where they're both like this. I'm tapped in every single night because
well, I want to ask you real quick, honestly, in what TV show or show that we have in our Rolodex where they have multiple storylines that we can be enthralled in? Because I
well,
think that's difficult to do.
I'll
I think that's
compare it to
difficult
I
to do.
compare it to I compare it to a lot of things like soap operas because I watched soap operas growing up. I would come back from school, my mom had the TV on soap operas. I would have to watch it with her. So they would that. I'm like, oh, and I was really interested in multiple people's storylines, and that's what wrestling has been to me growing up. It's like a male soap opera. Um, it's even Empire. I watched Empire. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but Empire was a storyline based show that had multiple different storylines going at one time, where the characters didn't intertwine, but separate storylines going on. Where somebody's going through a mental health issue, somebody's going through a custody issue, somebody's going through like a family dispute. It's a different, that's what, and I think wrestling has been that. And at times, when we build to WrestleMania, there are multiple angles going on at once. The everything they're going on with Trish and Becky Lynch right now has been entertaining, but it hasn't been on the level of. I think it needs a title. Put it that way. It hasn't been on the level of like this is must see. You know, but because that something is bigger than almost bigger than the whole company. I was like, it's like this angle is deeper than just the title, deeper than just I think the title is part of it, and that's why it feels so important because Roman is like undisputed champion, like he's undisputedly the man, 1,000 days. Without that, he ain't nothing. So if you get a woman like Rhea Ripley to get to that level, even if it's with Trish or whatever it may be, and build her up to over time, which will take time, but you would also need some interesting intertwining that has to be
I
deeper
mean,
than just the
Bianca was
title.
just champion for 420 days. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
but it's you know how I put this. There's a way that they're billing this bloodline thing that's different. You can tell the formula has completely changed with how they tell the story than a typical wrestling angle. You know, Asuka and Bianca is a wrestling angle. They come out, they brawl, come out, they miss, they move on next week and they do some one interaction, they move on, one interaction, they move on. The bloodline angle has multiple little in like little small details week to week, whether it's an angle in the beginning of the day, beginning of the night, I mean a backstage segment, something happens and finally in the ring they have a kind of payoff. That's kind of how they've been doing it, and it's been subtle things. And I need that, even if it's like, hey, let's give Rhea Ripley 2 segments a night with the women's championship and whoever she's feuding with, or give Bianca Belair and Asuka 2 segments a night. Now, granted, that is taking time from somebody else and some other angles, so
Right?
that's when it gets tough.
Exactly. And that's my thing where the women aren't strong enough to where Roman, even the men's division gets stifled a bit when you have several bloodline segments in a show, and then now you're squeezing in a yeah or a shoes or like whatever, and there's no development on them. You know what I'm saying? Like so,
Unless they're attached to the bloodline.
exactly, which they
Uh-huh.
are, right? Like
Yeah.
Street Profits. When are we going to be able to see them progress back into the tag team realm? Which right now, hopefully, we will, because we see Sammy and KO eventually distant. Right? They got Alpha Academy. They got Imperium. They got tag teams lined up against them that are away from the bloodline, which is great. But it took them so long. It
Yeah.
took so
I'll say this. With the Street Profits, it's tougher because they're on SmackDown. It's 2 hours, but Raw should be able to do this easier. It's 3 hour show. There is moments during that show where it's not as important. To be honest with you, it's not. Let's be real. So they can find a way to make those segments a little bit more important. And I hear that with Roman on Fox, they might be going 3 hours soon. That's a small rumor I heard from a grapevine that Fox might be wanting to push SmackDown to 3 hours. With that being said, on both shows, there should be enough time to make it a little bit deeper for these women. I don't think that there should ever be feuds with people that are top stars that are not them talking about getting the big one. I like, for instance, when Edge has a promo about the Judgment Day, he's always talking about getting back on track and leaving the Judgment Day and getting back on track, which is winning a championship. When Edge was in a qualifier for the tournament, he said, "Listen, this is my chance to win the championship." People like Becky Lynch, Asuka, Bianca, Rhea should always be talking about, listen, well, even if they're in another program, saying that, this is holding me back from my goal of being the top woman in the division. And even if they bump shoulders in the hallway with Rhea, you know, it doesn't mean that they have to say anything or do anything right then, but they should just keep that, like, listen, my eyes on you. And that creates a little bit of tension that, like, okay, the fans are like, wait, what's going to happen? When we saw Bianca and Rhea in the ring together and they cross paths, we're like, oh, what's going to happen? Like, that kind of stuff gets people excited. So it doesn't have to be a long, drawn out thing, but I think over time, you can build it. And I think Rhea's in a great position. Right now, she's a top woman in WWE. Rhea right now, to me. Um, and even though I prefer, I'm a big Bianca fan, but like as far as the momentum right now and who's hot, it's Rhea. Like I said,
This was
she's
always my conversation back to Cody and Seth, right? Like why Cody is the guy, Seth is the guy, right? You know what I'm saying? Like you can see right now, Bianca's the girl, Maria's the
the girl
girl.
at the moment.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and we're never gonna lose sight of that, but we also can't lose sight of that, right? Because you were just
Uh-huh.
about to say you're root for everything, Bianca. Bianca still had a little tinge of that when she attacked Asuka this week. And
Yeah.
she still got that. Yo, you didn't beat me like a champion.
Mhm.
I've been a champion 420 days. I defended, like you say, TV shows, no sleep, hitting the jet, going to the gym, doing these house shows, kissing babies, and you beat me cheaply that way, all the way in Saudi. Bianca got that little hint.
Yeah, I
Oh,
loved it, man. Like
yeah, yeah,
when she
yeah.
came out to fight Oscar this week. Yeah, man, she came with that fire, and she looked great. So it was like, like she's not slowing down anytime, So I think that Bianca's always gonna be
Which is
fine.
great. Which is great for us because,
Mhm.
as you just said, give Rhea 2 segments. If you're giving Rhea 2 segments on one show, maintaining or elevating her status, you gotta keep Bianca hot on the other show. You know
Absolutely,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
So, which is the same thing with Seth and Cody. They're on the same show, but at the end of the day, Seth got the championship, and he has to pretty much put himself on the map to prove. We just said that Chris Statlander had to prove herself, right? Seth, why? We know you're the guy, but why are you the guy again? And I know Seth is gonna be like, you're questioning
Yeah,
me.
how you gonna prove us? Tell me prove it again. The past 4 years, I've been proving it without the championship. Now I got a championship. You
But
still
that's
got
what that's what
But that's
Bianca
what being a
say.
champion is,
But
though.
that's what Rhea would say. Rhea was like, I ain't had no championship.
Mhm.
She had to watch Bianca win SmackDown Championship, Raw Women's Championship, have fused with Bayley, have fused with Becky, like be on top while she muddled around and wrestled with Liv and became tag team champion and had to get her feet wet with the Judgment Day. And when she was doing the Judgment Day shit with the Mysterios, we was like, okay, we see a little bit, but she
Mhm.
stepped in the light. And then
Mhm.
that's what
That's why I think that Rhea should be the leader of Judgment Day, even if it's not said out loud. She should be acting as the person who's setting the chessboard. Like, listen, Finn,
she
you
does.
should.
She stepped in niggas' faces.
Mhm.
Like, what you gonna do? You gonna hit me?
Yeah.
You gonna hit
Yeah,
a
she should
girl?
be the tactician of the whole group. Like, listen, Finn, I need you, Dominic, I need you to go after the Intercontinental Championship. I need you, Finn and Dom. I need you guys to
You
get the
said,
tag
Dominic,
championship. Whatever.
I need you to commit.
Listen, I
Commit.
know I said.
Beep. I need you to commit. Beep. We can't say that word. That's what you said. You said, Dominic, I need you to go after the IC championship. Nigga, you
You
said
know,
just
tag team,
wrap your head around something and then take a
tag team, tag team championship, or something else. You and Priest, can go. I need those tag championships, whatever it may be. I think that's what she should be doing, and elevating the Judgment Day, because right now the Bloodline has completely dismantled. It looks like we get back to the what we were talking about previously. They are no longer the top faction if you don't have a faction. I mean, we do got Roman and Solo together, but it's not a faction anymore. This week, we talk about Roman and Styles and Day Ray. He got presented a new championship. How do you think about it? What do you think about the championship?
So I say. That shit is fire. I know a lot of people complaining. They're like, oh, it could have been better. It could have been this. It ain't. Black
Guys, shut
strap, full with a whole bunch of gold.
up. Listen, I love gold, man. I'm a guy who's when I see a championship, like I'll be honest with you, I always say, listen, the big ass W on things, I'm not a big fan of, but hey, I get it why they do it. When you walk around with that W, it means something, and people see it. I don't know if you go to, Good Day America, whatever it may be. The morning shows, you can take that championship, and it's a big ass, advertisement for your show, your company. So, but I'm a big fan of gold. On belts. If you're having a championship belt, it should be like ECW, where it's big ass silver belt. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is not.
With
It's
purple and red on that.
purple shit on it. Like, this is not scream champion to me, like. But to me, this is dope. I like it. The universe this is the best version of the Universal Championship, WWE Championship that I've seen the entire
Yeah,
time. To me,
that blue and red shit had to go.
yeah. The
These
black
niggas
one was dope a little bit.
shit like that for championships. Yeah. You know how many
Mhm.
hood niggas was like, yeah, woo.
Yeah, they were appealing to gang culture with those two, right? They went, yeah, they went blood first, and they're like,
Yo,
all right, yeah, we gotta
woo.
switch
And then it was
switch
like,
up.
hell no, we got Snoop.
Snoop was like, we ain't banging it. We ain't gotta change that championship
Nigga,
because yeah,
Snoop can't go to Long Beach with this. You know what I'm
yeah. So they switched it up, made it the Blue Universal
oh
Championship.
man, the blue man, blue t-shirt.
Yeah, blue
Remember
teeth.
50 came out here like a crib.
Yeah, great idea.
Oh
But
man, speaking of
no,
crib,
but this looks
some
dope.
purple
Dope.
crib
It looks, yo, it looks okay. Nice purple crib. That's what's up, man.
It's on brand. I don't know how
It's
we
on
got here.
brand for sure.
Just had to,
Yeah, but no, but shout out to Trips. He presented the championship to Roman. I like it. I like it, man. I seen
I
it.
like
And I looked on TV. It looked good, but when I saw it on an image outside of the TV, it looked even better to me. So yeah, I like it. So
so
after
I'll
that,
take it. After your story time with the championship, I guess our story time what happened. So
yeah, go ahead.
Roman Roman gets the championship, celebrating. He's giving a little speech. Got Solo on his side, got Paul on the side. Usos come in interrupt. Once that Uso Triple H said, "All right, that's my cue." That nigga, that nigga got about the ring real quick. That nigga, yes, like so, so, Usos
Oh
come
my god, he's
out,
like, I'm too old for this. I'm out.
bro. I am way too old. And niggas is not gonna super kick me. We see
Yeah,
how them niggas can go awry with the shit, right? So,
word up.
Jimmy comes out. Jay and Jimmy comes out, and they have some words at the end of the day, where Jimmy essentially was like, "Yo, your beef ain't with Jay, your beef ain't with Solo. I sent them shots. Your beef with me," type shit. And he was like, I'm a brother's keeper. You ain't acting like no brother, and I need you to come back on this side, bro. Come back on this side. I tried to kick some sense into you, man. Come back on this side. And essentially he was like, Solo, that's my brother. I know he gonna ride because that's my brother. I'm a brother's
Mhm.
keeper. Roman said, let the man speak for himself. Solo grabs the mic. He acknowledges Roman Reigns as his tribal chief, but he also says that those two boys over there are his brothers, and steps across from Roman. Now it's 3-1. All of Rikishi's boys, all of that's your daddy's sons was lined up against Roman, and we was like, wow. And Jimmy was like, come on, man, come on. We can do this. We can do this with respect. We can
Respect.
do this with
Yeah.
love. We can do
Mhm.
this with brotherhood. And Roman hugged that nigga and said, no.
No, he said, let's have respect for each other. No.
No. He said no. Everybody was like, oh shit, brother. Like, you can't even respect your brothers? No. You understand? I'm a sociopath, nigga. No, what are you talking about? Of course not.
Yeah.
I'm a menace. And that nigga, honestly, you saw the subtleties. If you're watching it, of course, everybody's waiting for him to give the signal to soap, right? And it's super subtle. It's just a look. It's just an eye shift. And that nigga Solo dumbed his brother.
It was awesome, man. I mean,
Oh, it was
I
awesome.
know Roman don't like to get his hands dirty, but it would have been even better if he did it himself. Like if he, did a Superman punch or
But that's
something.
why
Like
he's the real boss, though.
I know.
I don't do hits. I'm Stringer Bell, nigga. I don't do hits no more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I loved it, man. Man, and add a little bit, icing on the cake when they're walking away. They're looking back and they're right by the camera, and you can overhear them talking. And Paul Heyman says to Roman, "Hey, what about Jay?" And he's like,
He'll do what he always
"He
do.
always does." He's
Fall in line.
online. And I'm like, damn, that's a nice touch right there. So it continues, man. The storyline continues. Now the tension is on what is Jay going to do? Where does Jay lie in things? And the struggle for Jay is now going to be the angle with Roman and the bloodline. Right now, I don't see Roman defending the championship until SummerSlam, probably. But unless it's against Jimmy, I don't see it until SummerSlam, probably. But
Well, we
I'm
called
locked in.
this though a while when Jimmy was out, and we was like, how does Jimmy kind of incorporate himself and be important in this?
I said Jimmy versus Roman. Like I wanted to see that match because he was the guy who wasn't going to lie down. Like he
That
wasn't going
nobody's
to.
Fist T-shirt really
Yeah.
was. We're like 2 years removed from that, but he dead ass came back and said,
I'll
"Look,
be a bitch for a little bit, and then all right, it's too much.
you the hoe. I ain't no bitch."
Yeah, for real. Like he's riding with his brother, for a while, and it just got to a point where he couldn't take it anymore. He tried to snap some sense to him, didn't work. I'm curious to see what goes on from here. Romans will not be on TV next week, but the week after that, he will be back on SmackDown. In July, he will be here in Madison Square Garden in New York.
You know what we get? We get Jimmy J WrestleMania.
Can't wait.
Something that you've been asking for.
Listen, man, I love drama. I love the tension. I love the family.
Jimmy J WrestleMania in Philly.
I love the family feud, man. Brett versus Owen, Jeff versus Matt.
You imagine Roman versus Solo at WrestleMania, though?
I do not think that's possible, but I think that they should at some point have a match. Not this WrestleMania. Come on. I don't think. I know people.
They can build Roman. You don't think they can build Roman and Solo WrestleMania at fucking?
I think they can do it, but I don't think Solo is ready for that at all. Like I personally, you guys gotta understand something. Solo has benefited from nepotism more than anybody has ever done in WWE because he came right from NXT for spending a month down there, came straight to the main roster, and was in the main event. And he lived up to it.
I was about to say he picked up more than a lot of people have.
Absolutely,
right? He picked up more than Ted DiBiase Jr., Ricky Steamboat's kid, right? Like I think Solo and Charlotte essentially are the two Nepo babies that got.
Even Charlotte had to get it on her own in NXT for a bit. Solo was on his own in NXT for 3 months.
Rick was literally in her corner, her first championship against them.
Yeah, but he should come on. It wasn't like he was her manager. He was there as as just if Rick is her father, watching her win the championship.
Rick's legitimate best friend and most hated rival, Dusty, carved Charlotte. Rick might as well have been there. What are you talking about?
It's not the same thing. Charlotte, she had a run in NXT. Even if you want to say Rick was there or Dusty was there, Solo was there for a freaking cup of coffee, won at North American. She came back down to win a North American Championship, dropped it. He was already on the main roster when he won the North American Championship. Think about that. And then he's been in the main event pretty much ever since.
But that's the testimony. That's the testimony to him because I think that goes back, like you said. Yes, you get the nepotism, but what do you do with it?
Yo,
right?
no, and I don't mean to
You know
say
what
that
I'm
he's
saying?
not doing what he needs to do with it.
Correct.
Granted, I'm not trying to take nothing away from Solo, but what I'm
But
trying to say is,
but
on top of that, he is not a main eventer. Just because he's been in the main event
hold on,
doesn't
we
mean that
gotta
he's a guy
give.
who could hold the championship and
I didn't
carry the
say
company.
I didn't say he had to hold a championship. I'm
So then
just
why have
saying.
the match even?
What do you mean? What have the match? You're talking. We literally
If there's
talking about.
no chance for him to win it at WrestleMania, no less,
Hold
then I
on,
don't want to see that at WrestleMania.
you can't. Okay, first and foremost, Chitty, take your mind out the fuck. WrestleMania just happened like a month ago, so that means we got a whole year to build this fucking warrior. Like we got a year to build Umanga
Okay.
to have a WrestleMania match with John Cena, right? Because that's just or Umanga to have a match with Bobby Lashley, right?
Hmm.
Like you can take this year with the storytelling that he's already been involved with, and if we're talking about the bloodline is shattered, right? We're talking about the stems of the bloodline standing on their own. If Roman and Solo have cracks in them, right? Because I believe Solo will be able to accentuate the street warrior mentality when he's unleashed. Right? He seems
Put it this
taken.
way, I think Solo benefits from the bloodline more than he would as an adversary to Roman. I think that I think you see more of his weaknesses if he was on his own. I do. I think the whole he's perfect sight right hand man for Roman right now. He's perfect as the enforcer for the bloodline all this time he's been. That's the perfect role for him. You take him out of that, and he has to stand on his own as a singles talent and compete against the Gunthers, the Seth Rollins, the Cody Rhodes, and
Yeah,
that is then.
we've seen it. We've seen him thrown in the fire with the Seth Rollins, with the Cody Rhodes. We've seen it.
But I'm
We've
talking about as an act by himself. He's not done it by himself.
but
He's
his
done it as an enforcer for the bloodline.
but that but
That's
that
his
will,
character.
but that will carry over though. That's what I'm saying. Like that's why I have belief in the character.
You have to be
Because
able to talk.
the
You have to
mis-
be able to people like you for you, not just because you're part of the
well,
bloodline.
listen, Omanga did not talk. If we're talking about the elk of that, right? First and foremost, if we're talking about the elk of being a street warrior, a fucking non-verbal fucking I speak when I want to, I speak when I have to. Like, yes, I get you. Like, but again, we're talking about John Cena and Umanga had a championship last match.
Match.
Yes, and that's
And
again.
if you want a match, yes, but it won't be at WrestleMania. Absolutely, I can see them having a match, but I don't think I don't think it can be at
If
WrestleMania.
we're talking about Jimmy and Jay a year out from
I
now,
think that's possible.
okay, and I think Solo and Roman's in the same elk, especially if we're talking about the little shit. If Roman's scared of Solo,
I
Roman
think that's
needs
possible for
Solo.
a Royal Rumble. I think that's possible for Elimination Chamber. I think that's possible for a Survivor Series even. But I don't think that Roman and Solo for the championship at WrestleMania has any plausible deniability that that Solo has even a shot. Put it that way. That's what I'm saying.
What if we're introducing? But this is my thing. Like, if we're talking about Roman maintaining and telling a story, I can see Roman replacing Solo with the Samoan Werewolf. I can see,
Oh,
I can see, I can see them building up Solo. Listen, I can see them building up Solo as a badass who don't need to be next to Roman, and who who will distance himself from Roman and will step to Roman and be like, "You can intimidate everybody but me." Right?
you
And
know
we
what
can,
I want to see? And you brought him up a second ago. I need Rakishi, man. I need Rakishi to show an appearance. Not that I think he can add something to these layers of this dynamic because the whole thing was the elder sent Solo to protect the tribal chief, and we haven't heard from Rakishi's point of view on what is going on with his sons in this bloodline angle, and to see him support Solo or say, "Hey, Solo, you're not going. You're going against your brothers." would add some character to Solo
It
and see
would. It
where he
would. It
lies.
would. Yes, it
And
would.
that's what I'm trying to see.
Absolutely.
Say it's like, and over time we can see him grow into his own character
And
and
that's what
have
I'm.
that.
But
Yeah.
that's what. But I'm just projecting. I think this is my thing. I have seen them grow him and protect him and groom him to not have me think that he won't be ready for a match.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I hear
Like,
what you're saying.
especially with the story. I would
Yeah.
think that, like, yes, he don't have to carry the company, and you say plausible deniability of winning a match. But if we build up a badass Solo who Roman is actually intimidated by, and there you can have a tinge,
Yeah,
you can have a
absolutely. Here's a
little
shot. Here's a
legit,
shot.
yeah, you know
I
what
feel
I'm
you.
saying?
You know,
And then
just
when he gets to, you have fucking Jacob Fatu come out of that motherfucker and smash, and I'm like, yeah.
okay. I like that. I like that, man. Listen, that was good, man. And for booking, I feel you. It's a possibility.
I was booking some more niggas.
Yeah, man. Booking Oos over here, yeah. But
Man.
no, but I think that's it, man. I definitely want to say rest in peace to superstar Billy Graham after he passed away. One of the icons of the industry,
I would
who
say the icon, right?
the
If we talk
icon, like
about,
the
if we talk about
first one.
what a superstar is now,
Exactly.
and what they embody and where they get right. We talk about superstar Buddy Graham and Nature Boy Buddy Rogers, right? As the
Thanks.
pioneers of um again, we talk again. The Nature Boy is what everybody has fucking, and the superstar is what everybody like. These niggas are like the pinnacle of what
Yeah,
it
man.
is. Like
Billy
so,
Graham was before all that too. Like you got to say, like he put the superstar attached to his name. He's the one who like created the moniker superstar, and now we call him WWE superstars, for a reason. Hulk Hogan jacked his whole fucking flow bar for bar, and he will say it himself, So, if you can inspire one of the greats in Hulk Hogan and inspire the entire stardom of wrestling, and saying, listen, I'm gonna go out there be flashy, so when I go out there, they remember me. They'll remember. Listen, I wrestled, and they remember who
yo,
I was.
you got Bruno San Martino over here, nigga, but you got motherfucking.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, man.
yeah, that's
So,
so.
shout out to him. Rest in peace. It's we lost a good one, and he's a legend. So I think that just wanted to give him a shout out, and on his career and what his influence was to the industry.
One time down to before we get out of here, I do want to say shout out to a couple of our black brethren holding it down in wrestling. Trinity over in Impact, who
Absolutely.
will be challenging Deanna Purrazzo for the Impact Knockouts Championship. We got Chris Bay out here who is with Ace Austin doing his thing. I really do need my man to kind of, you know what I'm saying? But how you doing
Chris
this
Bay has
thing?
a long term contract with Impact now.
Yeah,
But he's doing great. I guess I always tap in to see what he's doing out there with the Bullet Club over there, and
but and I
he's
think that
talented.
you gotta have guys like that who draws you to that. Listen,
Yeah,
that indicates,
Infinity, Chris
are
Bay.
you a draw? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like like I can't find this nigga nowhere else. Fuck it. All right. Where they at?
Listen, if I was Impact, I would have gave him a long term contract too. Shit.
AXS nigga channel, whatever the fuck that is.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to
No,
the
shout out to him.
right? One time down to
Yo,
for
PCO. You see what happened when you told us Staples?
bro, out bro. They don't make enough drugs, to be honest.
Yo, man, this guy's still doing it, man.
And not even still doing it. He's still doing shit I ain't never seen.
Yeah, he stapled his mouth shut. It's
Bro,
crazy.
what was that? What it was a what character was that in like that had a stapled mouth?
Frankenstein, right? He's doing the Frankenstein thing. Like,
Gosh, bro, this nigga's
yeah, he's
uh,
alive. He's
he's
alive.
he's
Yeah.
another black brethren that we got to salute. Shout out to PCO. Um, Even though he might be black because that nigga do not die. You know what I'm saying? Shout out black don't die. You know what I'm saying? Uh,
Yeah,
um, or he just went crazy, crazy, crazy.
crazy, yo. Like this guy's been doing it way before I was even born. He's still out there
Um,
getting a check. So shout out to that man. They can get in the bag for stapling his mouth shut
I
and
do
then pulling the staples out.
I
Wow.
do want to give a shout out to also main event Athena and Kira Hogan, who main evented ROH and had a really great match, really good angle too that looks like it's going to extend. And Willow, girl,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? My
I
wife
know
thinks,
you're.
but she don't know me.
You
She
might. You might think what?
My wife thinks she knows me, but she don't know me, nigga. She be like, she don't know me. She don't know me. She thinks she knows me. She don't know me, nigga. Look, check my search history on Willow. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yo, I think Willow was your number one in the industry. I can see. Nah, rightfully so too. Rightfully
No,
so.
Willow is strong in my book.
Nah, she a shout out to Willow NJPW strong champion, first ever. So and she beat Mercedes, and Mercedes got injured with her ankle. Hope you get well soon,
She's
Mercedes.
Willow's also in that boat though, right? Willow's also in that boat. Like, yo, I don't get into that position unless I'm worried, right? Now, I granted,
Oh,
we was going another way and everything like that, but in this business, in this industry, strap me up and show why you put me there on opposite in the first place, right?
hmm
So I think, between Willow and Chris Statlander and Rhea Ripley. It's a Tiffany Stratton. Shout out to it's rock hard
yeah.
over here, cause it's the rainbow too. Like it's flavors. It ain't even
All colors of the rainbow.
it ain't even just
Yeah,
one type. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the
taste
women.
the rainbow.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yo, yeah. Isn't it Pride Month? Yeah, yeah. Shout out to them too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Chris the Stallion. Shout out to Keeks got that name off the ground. Chris the Stallion
Okay.
over there. Tiffany over there. She about her business. I know she got to work on her promo game a little bit, but she about everything she about over there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think she's talented. I think I watched that. Yo, I want to give a shout out to also NXT. Yo, I didn't even touch on that. Yeah, Wesley still killing it. That match, triple threat, awesome. Ilha Dragunov with Donovan Dijakovic. Seems like he found another guy he can match up with. That Donovan has certain people that he can just has chemistry with.
Yep.
Ilha is one of those guys. He's like a Keith Lee for him where they just had magic. And it was a brutal match and it worked. Probably best match of the night.
Now I might be talking a little bit out of school, but fuck it, it's my pod and that's my brother. So
Yes. Mhm.
remember I went to NXT Sebring about a couple weeks ago, and I linked up with the brother and that whole. I
Mhm.
said, "Yo, what's your history with Mustafa?" And he said, "I don't have any." Guess who showed up to NXT?
It's crazy, right?
I'm nice. Like you said. So
Yeah, yeah. So we'll pulled up.
you know what I'm saying.
Um,
Mustafa pulled up, and then it looks like we might have a little bit of eye on the prize down there. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? I think
exactly.
Mustafa and West will be a great, great,
I
great.
can't wait. Honestly, like, yeah, I think
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
exactly what both of these guys need. I think that's going to be a banger. Um,
So
also
thank
Baron
me,
Corbin
everybody. Hey,
spoken
thank
into existence.
me. No lie.
Yes.
You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? That is
Um,
all for my brain trust.
by the
Okay.
way, a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I'm not sure what it was. I want to talk about Baron Corbin
Uh,
because he wasn't drafted; he was a free agent, and then they got him to the match with Cameron Grimes. He got stomped out, pinned. I really want us to put more respect on this guy's name. Really, I know it sounds blasphemous because everybody hates him, but the guy goes out there, he does what he has to do, and he's still a good wrestler. But when I look at him, he's not like he does the job. And now you got Baron Corbin versus Carmelo Hayes, but I need him to change his gears back to Lone Wolf. I think that's what we're waiting for. We
But
don't want this.
I don't think we disrespect. Who disrespects Corbin?
Everybody disrespects Corbin, man. Yes, even in this because you know they tell you to disrespect him because he didn't get drafted, all that stuff, and then,
He's big boss man. We said it. I mean, I don't think we disrespected Fred Trailer like that.
no, we didn't, not. But
I'm just saying. I mean, but even still, like the general, when we compared Karrion Kross to Sid Vicious, it wasn't disparaging. It was just like we want you to tap in on something that I think that's already there.
I think he probably would like it, but everybody else hated it.
That's what I'm saying. So, with that being said, Corbin has been, without a shadow of a doubt, like when we talk about glue guys, right? You don't talk about. I mean, he played offensive line, so he knows. You don't talk about offensive line. You don't talk about that pulling guard, or you don't talk about that fucking third down speed rusher. Or you don't talk about that fucking nickel cornerback, right? He has been super glue for Pat McAfee, Bro Corbin, and yes, it hasn't necessarily stuck, but the fact that he can be a chameleon is how he's always going to be able to make some money. And I think Corbin has picked that up very, very well. JBL looks like a really good mentor to that nigga. Hey, kid, you like Rolex watches? You like Wagyu beef? Do what the fuck they tell you. And that nigga Corbin said, cool, I can do that. I can do that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that boy there.
A good challenge for Carmelo, too.
Carmelo's going to snap.
Yeah, I think it's a good challenge for him. Somebody can put him on a big dude. He gets to work with a big guy. So let's see how that goes down with him. And Braun Breaker, man, he needs to get called up, man. I honestly, I would love to see Braun Breaker just show up to the Money in the Bank. I would just love that. I know it's not gonna happen, but I would love if he showed up in that match, or gets like added to it or something. But he's done. Like he's done with NXT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would honestly like Braun and Gunther. I would like this. I think they would present. I would like they would present.
Yeah.
I think they can present Braun as Jason Jordan again. 2.0.
He would have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's just so you know.
I mean, Jason. Listen, when Jason Jordan came up, he became IC champ really quick. It was like, hey,
yeah, for sure,
whoa, buddy. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't think about that, but like he might be the guy to beat Gunther's reign. Like I didn't think about that, but that's possible. Yeah,
I mean, it's all here, brother.
Wow, that's a good one right there.
Anything else? You got anything else for tonight?
No, I think that's all it, man. We touched on everything necessary. The rumors, we're all like, I mean, SmackDown might go 3 hours. Collision's coming back. A lot of wrestling, it's getting more, Elva Kingo and them had a good showing on Rampage. They are crazy out there. But yeah, other than that, that's it, man. Wrestling's been hot. That's it. All love. Everything's wrestling. Check us out on all the medias of socialness, guys. And check out eiwshop.com and cop some merchandise, baby. Oh, yeah, we got stickers on the way. Gotta put them up. We gotta talk, by the way. Yeah, I got send some out. But yeah, we'll be tapping in next week, guys. And we'll talk to you guys later.
Yes, sir.
All right. Peace out.